All right, we're on the record at this time. Will the Office of the State Attorney and Public Defender please enter your appearance?
Taylor Fleming on behalf of the Office of the State Attorney.
Stephanie Fritchell from the Public Defender's Office.
Let's get the Spanish on.
Good morning, this is John Chin, Spanish interpreter, previously sworn, dialing in now.
All right. The defendant has the headsets on. If you can make contact, please.
Sí, un poquito bajito. Sí. Sigue bajito, la verdad. Ahora sí.
Connection established.
May I please have your name, sir?
Luis José de Jesús Rodríguez Crisiones. Luis José de Jesús Rodríguez Crisiones.
Luis José de Jesus Crisiones.
Rodríguez Crisiones.
Rodriguez Crisiones.
All right, sir. This case number 23CT4649. Sir, this is you're being held on a warrant out of Lake County. The judge in that case set bond in the amount of none. Will notify Lake County that you are here, and they will have 24 hours to pick you up. All right, please remove the headsets and follow the officer out the blue door.
¿No puedo hacer una pregunta?
Can I ask a question?
You may ask me a question. I don't know if I'll be able to answer it, but
Ok, estoy preso porque tengo una orden de arresto, pero mi orden de arresto es por no tener licencia. O sea que voy a ir a prisión.
I'm in prison and there's an arrest warrant for me for not having a driver's license. Am I going to go to jail?
so you're currently in jail right now. This is the Orange County Jail. You have a charge in Lake County. The judge in that case issued a warrant for your arrest and put it at no bond. So Orange County is going to notify Lake County that you're here in our jail. Lake County will have 24 hours to pick you up. If Lake County doesn't pick you up within 24 hours, you'll be brought back before an IA judge. It won't be me, it'll be a different judge. And they'll determine the conditions of your release if Lake County doesn't pick you up.
Ok, si el condado...
I can't help you anything about the Lake County case. I can't tell you because we're in Orange County. I have no information about your Lake County case. You're going to have to ask the Lake County judge if you can't afford your own attorney to appoint a public defender for you, and you'll have to deal with that in Lake County. I don't have any of the Lake County information, and I can't do anything about that case.
Ok, otra preguntita. Si no vienen a recogerme en las 24 horas, ¿me darán un caso para salir en libertad?
So if they don't come to get me within 24 hours, they'll give me a case to be able to leave jail.
You will come back before an IA. If Lake County doesn't pick you up in 24 hours, you'll come back into this room. It won't be me, it'll be a different judge. And the judge at that time will determine the conditions of your release.
And Your Honor, just since there's a lot of questions, it's 24 hours, not including the weekend. So that means
Monday.
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 Yes, and it starts after this proceeding, just so that he's
Yeah.
fully clear.
So if Lake County
O sea,
doesn't,
que sábado y domingo lo voy a pasar aquí. O sea que sábado y domingo lo pasaré aquí.
So I'm going to be here Saturday and Sunday.
I don't know. Lake County might pick you up today. I don't know. We don't know what Lake County is going to do.
Ok, bueno, 1,000,000 de gracias. Disculpe la molestia.
Okay, thank you so very much.
All right, sir, please. And before I let you go, will you please ask if any of the victims require an interpreter?
¿Hay alguna víctima presente que requiere los servicios de un intérprete de español?
He's shaking his head no.
No one has indicated. Thank you.
You have a good day.
You too. Hello, can you hear me, interpreter?
Yes, Your Honor.
Have you been sworn in yet?
No.
Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear to translate from Creole to English, from English to Creole in the testimony given today?
Yes, I swear.
State your name and your ID for the record, please.
My name is Bruce. My ID number is 398827.
All right, will you please ask the defendant to state his name?
S'il vous plaît, papa moi non, s'il vous plaît.
Moi, il est Williamson Moïse.
My name is Williamson Moses.
All right, Mr. Moyes, you've been charged with battery, domestic violence.
Yo charge avec yo bay yo relé wap violence domestique avec battement.
Mr. Moyes, you did not complete affidavit. Do you want to find out if you qualify for a public defender?
Ou patron qui a ça mais on est si ou qualifié pour un défenseur public, un avocat.
Oui.
Yes.
Mr. Moyes, please raise your right hand to be sworn in.
Monsieur Moïse, s'il vous plaît, levez main droite pour être capable et faut faire serment devant le tribunal là.
Do you solemnly swear affirm the testimony shall give be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Est-ce que vous jurez pour bien la vérité, toute vérité à net?
Oui.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. You may put your hand down.
Merci, monsieur, mais descend now.
Mr. Moyes, do you have any income?
Est-ce que vous avez un revenu? Est-ce que vous travaillez sur votre cob?
Oui.
Yes.
How much do you receive and how often?
Combien cob vous touchez chaque kilo?
Je ne pas toucher par moi, je sais like un Uber driver, moi je fais up job par mois.
I don't get paid by the hour. I'm an Uber driver.
Approximately how much a week do you make?
It can be like,
Combien cob vous faites chaque
it depends,
semaine?
it can be 800, it depends.
Depends, around like 800.
All right, and do you have any dependents, any children, a spouse?
Est-ce que vous avez aucun monde ou bien est-ce que vous avez madame? Est-ce que vous avez un qui dépend de vous?
Seulement, ménage avec petite moi.
My girlfriend and my child.
You said your child?
Yes.
All right, you do qualify for a public defender.
Au qualifie pour devenir un avocat public.
I'll appoint the office of the public defender to represent you.
Je vais chercher un avocat dans le bureau de défenseur public là pour capable représenter.
I reviewed the arrest affidavit and I find probable cause.
Moi, révise des avis à rapport avec les autorités là et puis moi je une cause pour ça.
You do qualify for a pretrial release.
Au qualifié pour y relancer ou avant et session.
Pretrial release is a program run by the Department of Corrections.
Et ça, c'est un programme. Ça veut dire, relâchement est fait avant session 1. C'est un programme et département correction 1, lui-même, les manier, gérer.
It allows you to be released from jail without posting a monetary bond?
Ça permet pour de relâcher dans la prison sans pas obligé de payer encore.
But you have to comply with all of the requirements of the program?
Mais on a bien comme obligation pour suivre toutes les recommandations et ça, gamin, on a bien suivre tout ça pour faire.
That includes meeting with the PTR officer on a regular basis in person?
Ça inclut là-dedans pour rencontrer avec l'officier TTR là régulièrement.
Sir, did you want to participate in that program?
Est-ce que vous avez même participé dans le programme ça?
Non, je ne connais pas qui programme, vous pouvez expliquer, s'il vous plaît.
Il y a un programme, je fais expliquer ça là. So I don't know what program it is, but you'll be able to explain it to me.
I just did.
Je fais expliquer là.
Your Honor, if I may have just a moment.
Yes. Do you have anything on this one? It wasn't.
That's me. If you paid, you are.
Your Honor, I apologize. How much would a monetary bond be on this case?
1,500.
That would be the monetary bond or get out on supervision. 1,500.
You have to pay it now or something.
Before you can get out. Before you can get out, you have to pay it. Or you can do the program. She's not going to give us much more time to chat. So
Okay, so how much is the duration of the program?
you said want to do the program?
How much the duration of the program?
How much?
The duration of the program.
It's instead of paying money. Instead of paying money, you're supervised. So no money
How much time you can?
until the case is over.
Okay.
Your
So
Honor,
you want PTR?
Yeah.
All right, sir, so I'll order you released under the pretrial release program.
So on a relâché ou en bas programme ça.
The conditions of your release are
Condition pour être capable de relâcher ou c'est
that you have no contact with the alleged victim,
on pas entrer en contact avec moun ça ou battre là.
you must maintain a separate residence.
On va prêter l'autre côté, on va prêter bon côté.
If there is a shared residence, you may return one time in the presence of law enforcement officers to retrieve your personal belongings.
Si nous t'arrêtons même côté, on gagne droit seulement pour tourner côté moun nan une seule fois, accompagné avec 2-3 policiers calme seulement.
You may not possess any weapons or firearms.
On pas gagne droit gagner dans possession aucune arme, aucune batte on vient marconner.
If you have any, you must turn them in to the Orange County Sheriff's Office within 4 hours of release from incarceration.
Si gagne arme ou outil comme si pour faire moun mal avec les nan mon, ou bien pour mettre les dans et county sheriff county dans 4 après aucune radio.
All right, sir, please follow the officer out the blue door.
Mettre suivre et policier ça dehors dans porte ça.
Interpreter, thank you for your time this morning.
Thank you for using our services, Your Honor.
Where I live exactly is my property because I don't know. I don't have any.
As long as she's not living there, you can go back.
But I don't have nowhere to go.
But if
nowhere to stay.
she's not living there, unfortunately, you're gonna have to figure something out. You can not give out social.
All right, Mr. Moise, move on.
You're gonna have to talk to your attorney about it, okay? Take this with you. If she's there, just don't go back. I know it's unfortunate, but don't go back.
Please step forward and tell me your name.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. My name is Rafael Perez.
Good morning, Mr. Perez. All right, you're here on warrants out of Polk County, and the judge in your cases, well, one case set bond in the amount of none. So we'll notify Polk County that you're here, and they'll have 24 hours to pick you up.
And if not, I assume,
If not, you'll come back on Monday, you'll see an IA judge, it won't be me, it'll be a different judge, and they'll set the terms of your release.
okay.
Until Tuesday, because they don't count the weekends. Okay?
But am I guaranteed a bond?
It just depends. You'll have to see when you come back, okay? Good luck.
Please step forward and tell me your name. Ms. Williams, this is a warrant, this is a violation of probation out of county, and the bond is none. Which county is it? We'll notify Brevard that you're here, and they'll have 24 hours to pick you up.
On the weekends of holidays.
What's today?
Friday, so not counting Saturday or Sunday.
I've been here. This is my third day. I know that when I got fingerprinted, they said that they notified them. That was on the 11th. Brevard has been notified on the 11th when I first got here and got my fingerprinted.
Can I see your paperwork?
I bonded out on the charge from you. Well, I posted a bond and paid for it.
Okay, just a moment, let me take a look.
I'm sorry.
All right, so it says here that you were booked in on 10/12 at 5:47.
I was here on the 11th.
And this is 10, this is, yeah, no, it hasn't been 24 hours yet.
I've been here 3 days. This is my third. This is the 13th. I came in. My charge said 11.
It's also
Came in on the 11th. They did my fingerprint on the 11th. They said they notified Brevard then.
It's also 24 hours after you see an IA judge,
Y-
not
Yes,
24 hours after you're booked.
the timeline starts after seeing the judge.
Yeah, we have her booked in at 10/12.
It's the 13th. And I did my fingerprinting on the 11th.
No, well, you got served yesterday, and so it was an on view, and so the 24 hours starts now.
So even though I've been here 3 days and I was booked on the 11th, my 24 is nothing. Like
You weren't served with the violation of probation on the 11th.
they told.
All right, follow the officer out the blue door.
Good luck with everything.
Please tell me your name. All right, Ms. Cardwell, this is a violation of probation. Did you, you do qualify for a public defender? I'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you in the violation of probation. The judge in the case set bond at none, and you are scheduled for an in-jail arraignment on October 16th. Please step forward and tell me your name.
Oh, Terry Adams.
All right, Mr. Adams, I'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you. And you've been charged with failure to report as required. I do find probable cause. I'm going to release you ROR, but with the following conditions. The same conditions that the judge ordered yesterday.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to order that you comply with all of the sex offender conditions that have been in place, that you not possess or use drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription, that you not possess any weapons, firearms or ammunition, that you are referred to Competency Restoration Services through Aspire, that you must report to Aspire within 10 days of release, that you comply with any recommended evaluations and treatments, and that you take all of your prescribed medications.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and just to make sure that you stay in contact with the public defender. I know now you have 3 different cases. I don't know if you're gonna have the same attorney in all of the cases. I know there are different judges. So just make sure you stay in contact with the public defender's office, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you, sir.
Your Honor,
Yes.
the 2 open cases.
Yes, I'm not going to take any action on the 2 open cases, given the findings of Judge Weiss yesterday.
His disorder, they wanted him to report, defendant to register probably address within 12 hours of release on this one.
Keep it on there.
And Your Honor, for Mr. Martinez, they did not obtain an additional affidavit, so would ask for an ROR on count 1. You already found PC on count 2.
Okay. All right, so, Mr. Martinez, we appointed the public defender yesterday, and I found that the threat was sufficient, but that there was no indication of a battery, so we did not get a supplement, so the battery charge would be ROR, and then the aggravated assault with a weapon remains at the 2,500. And all the, no contact with the victim, maintain a separate residence. If there is a shared residence, you may return one time in the presence of law enforcement officers to retrieve your personal belongings, that you not possess any weapons or firearms. If you have any, you must turn them into the Orange County Sheriff's Office within 4 hours of release from incarceration. All right, please follow the officer out the blue door.
Take this. Everything.
Please step forward and tell me your name.
Your Honor, James Botkins, mental health.
All right, I'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender. It's a FTA, and the judge had set bond in the amount of none.
And Your Honor, we can waive his appearance.
Thank you. Please step forward and tell me your name. All right, Mr. Bryant.
Yes, Brian qualified.
Mr. Bryant, you do qualify for a public defender. I'll appoint the Office of a Public Defender to represent you.
And-
You've been charged with aggravated battery, domestic violence, and aggravated assault, domestic violence. It was by a warrant, so a judge previously found probable cause. I've also reviewed the warrant. I'll set bond in the amount of $2,500 on count 1, $250 on count 2. The conditions are that you have no contact with the alleged victim, that you maintain a separate residence. If there is a shared residence, you may return one time in the presence of law enforcement officers to retrieve your personal belongings. You may not possess any weapons or firearms. If you have any, you must turn them in to the Orange County Sheriff's Office within 4 hours of release from incarceration. Please follow the officer out the blue door.
Stay in touch with us, okay?
Please step forward and tell me your name.
Henry Cepeda.
Mr. Cepeda, you did not complete the form. Did you want to find out if you qualify for a public defender?
I talked to some family members and they said that they're gonna try and get a lawyer for me.
Okay, so you're gonna get a private attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you have 2 cases. One case, you've been charged with attempted robbery, sudden snatching, and battery on a person 65 years of age or older. In the second case, you were charged with attempted robbery, sudden snatching, and battery dating violence. I reviewed the affidavits, and I do find probable cause. In the first case, ending in 13588, I'm going to stay the bonds. It was 1,000, count 1, 2,500, count 2. In that case, I'm going to order that you have no contact with the victim, that's the mom. I'm going to order that you not possess any weapons or firearms. If you have any, you must turn them into the Orange County Sheriff's Office within 4 hours of release from incarceration. The second case ending in 13602, I'm going to set bond in the amount of $2,500 on the battery dating violence charge and $250 on the attempted robbery. The conditions of that are that you have no contact with the victim, that's the girlfriend. I'm going to order that you not possess any weapons or firearms. If you have any, you must turn them into the Orange County Sheriff's Office within 4 hours of release from incarceration. I don't believe that you reside together, but I am going to order that you maintain a separate residence. If there is a shared residence, you may return one time in the presence of law enforcement officers to retrieve your personal belongings.
Your Honor, state was gonna ask for no return, given that they've been broken up for over a month. Just-
Okay, that's what I thought. It was, he didn't live there, right? That's
No,
what I
Your
thought. Okay, so I'll order no return. Please follow the officer out the blue door.
So remove the one time or just leave
Yeah,
it?
remove the one time and no return.
Maintain resident, you want me to remove that as well?
Yeah, you can keep that on there. Please tell me your name.
King Davis, ma'am.
Mr. Davis, you do qualify for a public defender. I'll appoint the office of the public defender to represent you. You've been charged with aggravated assault with a firearm, false imprisonment with a weapon, obstructing justice, tampering with a witness, battery, domestic violence, grand theft, third degree, and criminal mischief. And does that false imprisonment with a weapon, does that qualify for a bond, or is that a?
Yes, Your Honor, it's an F2.
Okay.
He is entitled to a bond on all counts. So just bring to your attention, he is a convicted felon, so he shouldn't have had a firearm at all. So state would just ask that you take that into account when setting his bond.
All right, I do find probable cause. I'm going to set bond in the amount of $2,500 on the battery domestic violence charge.
Wait a minute. Okay, let's count 4.
And on the aggravated assault with the firearm, I'll set bond in the amount of $1,000. And all of the remaining counts, I'll set bond in the amount of $250.
1,500 on the battery.
I said 1,000 on the battery.
The DV domestic?
No, oh, the battery was 2,500, the ag assault with the firearm was 1,000. Everything else, 250. All right, the conditions of your release are that you have no contact with the victim, that you maintain a separate residence. You may return one time in the presence of law enforcement officers to retrieve your personal belongings if there is a shared residence. Let me finish and then you can ask the council. I'm going to require that you not possess any weapons or firearms. If you have any, you must turn them into the Orange County Sheriff's Office within 4 hours of release from incarceration. Ask Ms. Frischel first, and then she'll tell me.
Instead of going down, okay. It kind of confused us. We have it like you got it.
And Your Honor, I think you said the one-time return with law enforcement. I just wanted to confirm.
I did.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so if she is still there, you can.
Please follow the officer out the blue door. Please step forward and tell me your name.
Ryan Littlejohn.
Mr. Littlejohn, you do qualify for a public defender. I'll appoint the office of the public defender to represent you. You've been charged with battery, domestic violence, burglary of a dwelling with assault or battery, and violation of a domestic injunction. I reviewed the arrest affidavit. I do find probable cause. I'm going to set bond in the amount of $2,500 on the battery domestic violence charge and $250 on the other two charges.
Your Honor, count 2 is a PBL.
Oh. In that case, the bond will be none on count 2.
And Your
Thank
Honor,
you.
what were the remaining bonds?
$250 on the violation of a domestic injunction,
And so it's 250 and then 2,500?
and then none,
Oh,
yeah.
None,
On the
2,000.
burglary, yeah, none. All right, so, and then the conditions will be no contact with the victim, no weapons or firearms, maintain a separate residence, one-time return in the presence of law enforcement officers to retrieve personal belongings, no weapons or firearms. I don't know if I already said that.
He didn't live there.
He doesn't live there, so,
No, Your
okay, so
Honor.
no return.
Thank you.
And Your Honor, we would just reserve our right to have an Arthur hearing downtown.
Absolutely.
You said surrender. You didn't tell him to surrender within 4 hours. Or she didn't.
I didn't, but. You must surrender any weapons or firearms within 4 hours of release. I forgot to say that.
No, she said just no return.
Please tell me your name.
John Williams.
And Your Honor, I do have an argument for this one.
Go ahead.
Your Honor,
Well,
regard-
let me appoint you first.
Thank you.
Did he qualify? I'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you. Go ahead.
Yes, Your Honor. Defense was just going to argue lack of probable cause for a burglary here. There does not appear to be any intent to commit a crime therein. There are obviously, in this case, two different versions of stories and events. However, nothing indicates that he had intent to steal anything, to harm anyone, or to do anything further. This would be simply a trespass.
State.
Your Honor, state would argue stealthy entry. It's alleged that he came in through the window, which is prima facie for the burglary and the intent therein due to the stealthy entry. State would argue that there's enough at this time. And given that did not have a key, he had nothing in the house. He entered through a window allegedly. State would argue that there's enough at this time.
And Your Honor, that comes to the two different events. One argument is that he was picking up personal belongings with consent.
Right. All right, so, I do think it's sufficient for a finding of probable cause on both counts, so I will find probable cause. On the burglary of a dwelling, I'll set bond in the amount of $5,000. And on the violation of a PTR condition on domestic violence, I'll set bond in the amount of $2,500. On the case that you're on pretrial release, I'm going to revoke PTR and set bond at none. The conditions of release are that you have no contact with the victim or the witness, the other person. I'm going to order that you not return to the scene, that you not possess any weapons or firearms. If you have any, you must turn them into the Orange County Sheriff's Office within 4 hours of release from incarceration. All right, please follow the officer out the blue door.
Attorney know that as well, okay? Good luck with everything.
Please step forward and tell me your name.
Stephanie Ankrum.
All right, Ms. Ankrum, you do qualify for a public defender. I'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you. You've been charged with battery, domestic violence. Sir, if you'll please raise your right hand to be sworn in, and I'll tell you you might have to bend down and to speak into the microphone so we can hear you in the room.
Do you solemnly swear affirm the testimony shall give be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Do.
State your name for the record.
Eamon Roman.
Put your hand.
State, you may inquire.
Good morning, sir. Can you please state your relationship to Ms. Ankrum? Can you please state your relationship to Ms. Ankrum?
I'm hard of hearing, I'm sorry.
It's okay. Can you please state your relationship to Ms. Ankrum?
She's the love of my life.
Are you afraid of her?
I'm not.
Has anything like this ever happened before?
No.
If anything like this or anything more severe ever occurred in the future, would you feel comfortable calling 911?
Yes.
Do you believe drugs or alcohol were involved?
No, ma'am.
And do you guys reside together? Do you reside in the same house?
We do.
Are you comfortable with her coming home?
I really wish she would.
So you do want contact with her?
Yes, I do.
State has no further questions, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, sir. I appreciate you coming in and for your testimony. Ms. Fritschel, Ms. Ankrum qualifies for PTR. Do you need a minute to discuss it with her?
Yes, Your Honor. Your Honor, she'd like to go on pretrial release.
All right, I'll release you under PTR. The conditions of your release are that you have no hostile contact with the victim, that you not possess any weapons or firearms. If you have any, you must turn them in to the Orange County Sheriff's Office within 4 hours of release from incarceration. The arrest affidavit indicated that alcohol was a factor. I did hear the testimony that said it wasn't. I'm going to order that you not consume alcohol to the point of intoxication, and that you not consume any drugs that haven't been prescribed to you by a medical doctor. All right, sir, thank you again for coming in.
Thank you.
Please follow the officer out the blue door. Please tell me your name.
Justin Crespo, Your Honor.
No.
He doesn't Mr. Crespo, you do not qualify for a public defender, so I can't appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you. You've been charged with battery, dating violence. I do find probable cause. You do qualify for PTR. PTR is pretrial release. It's a program that's run by the Department of Corrections. It allows you to be released from incarceration without posting a monetary bond, and you do have to comply with all of the requirements of the program, include meeting with the PTR officer on a regular basis in person. Would you like to participate in that program?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. I'll release you under PTR, and the conditions of your release are that you have no contact with the alleged victim. You must maintain a separate residence. If there is a shared residence, you may return one time in the presence of law enforcement officers to retrieve your personal belongings. You may not possess any weapons or firearms. If you have any, you must turn them into the Orange County Sheriff's Office within 4 hours of release from incarceration. The arrest affidavit indicates that alcohol was a factor. I'm going to order that you not consume alcohol to the point of intoxication, and that you not consume any drugs that haven't been prescribed to you by a medical doctor.
Your Honor, is there any way that we can make the no contact order a no hostile contact order?
No, sir. Without the victim present, I cannot order that. I'm required by law to order no contact.
What would the steps be if, because we were just talking on the
You're
phone
going to
not
have
too
to
long
hire an attorney, and they'll explain the process to you.
ago. Okay,
All right. Please sign the no contact order, then follow the officer out the blue door.
understood.
All right, please step forward and tell me your name.
Ashley Griffin.
Ms. Griffin, you do qualify for a public defender. I'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you. You've been charged with battery, domestic violence. I do find probable cause. I'll set bond in the amount of $1,500. I'll order that you have no contact with the alleged victim, that you maintain a separate residence. If you have a shared residence, does she qualify?
She does.
Oh, you got her qualified, okay. So, you do qualify for PTR. That's the program that's run by the Department of Corrections. It allows you to be released without posting a monetary bond. You have to comply with all the requirements of the program, include meeting with an officer on a regular basis. Did you want to participate in that program?
Yes, please.
All right, so we'll do PTR, and again, no contact, maintain a separate residence, one-time return in the presence of law enforcement officers to retrieve personal belongings, no weapons or firearms. You must surrender within 4 hours of release.
Your Honor, DCF was also contacted.
And you must comply with any requirements of the Department of Children and Family Services. All right, please follow the officer out the blue door.
Really stay in touch with us as well. You'll have a court date pretty quickly. We don't want you to miss it.
Please step forward and tell me your name.
My name is Tamara Guy.
Ms. Guy, you do qualify for a public defender. I'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you. You've been charged with battery, domestic violence. I do find probable cause. She qualifies for PTR. You want to speak to her for?
Yes, Your Honor. How much would be a monetary bond, Your Honor?
$1,500.
$1,500? 1,500? That or pretrial release?
I'll do the pretrial release.
Your Honor, she'll do the pretrial release.
All right, I'll release you on PTR. The conditions of the release are that you have no contact with the alleged victim. You must maintain a separate residence. You may return one time in the presence of law enforcement officers to retrieve your personal belongings from any shared residence. You may not possess any weapons or firearms. If you have any, you must turn them in to the Orange County Sheriff's Office within 4 hours of release from incarceration.
Yes, understood.
All right, please follow the officer out the blue door. Please step forward and tell me your name.
Tyler Helock.
Mr. Helock, you do qualify for a public defender. I'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender in both cases. In the first case, you've been charged with driving with a suspended or revoked license. I do find probable cause. I'll stay the bond at $500. And the second charge is stalking, dating violence, which I also find probable cause. Ma'am, if you'll please raise your right hand to be sworn in.
Do you solemnly swear affirm the testimony shall give you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
State your name for the record.
Brianna Jones.
All right, state you may inquire, Ms. Jones.
Good morning. Can you please state your relationship to Mr. Helock?
He's my ex-boyfriend.
Are you afraid of him?
Yes.
Has anything like this incident happened before?
There's been multiple incidents.
And would you like to have contact with him while this case is pending?
No.
Do you currently reside with him?
No.
Would you like him to return to your residence?
No.
All right, on the stalking, dating violence, I'm going to set bond in the amount of $1,500. The conditions of your release are that you have no contact with the victim or her mom, and that includes telephonic, using other people to contact her, go into the parking garage where she lives. You may not return to the scene. You may not use other people to try to contact her. You may not possess any weapons or firearms. If you have any, you must turn them in to the Orange County Sheriff's Office within 4 hours of release from incarceration. State anything else?
Not at this time, Your Honor.
All right, thank you for coming in this morning. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
All right, sir, please follow the officer out the blue door. I figured. Please step forward and tell me your name.
Mary Rose Pierre Bertrand.
All right, ma'am, you filled out an affidavit. I just wanted to confirm your income. Can you tell me how much you make per month?
It's not per month. It's every, like, I do taxes and they start in February to April.
To what?
February to April, that's 3 months or 4 months work. And also I do the traffic school during the year.
All right, how much do you make each year, your total income?
That was 110,000, 100,000.
All right, you don't qualify for a public defender, so I can't appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you. You've been charged with battery, domestic violence. I do find probable cause. You do qualify for pretrial release. That's a program that's run by the Department of Corrections. It allows you to be released from incarceration without posting a monetary bond. You do have to comply with all of the conditions of the program, including reporting to an officer on a regular basis in person. Did you want to participate in that program?
And if I have to pay the bond, how much it will be?
$1,500.
Yes, I will do that.
The bond?
Yes.
All right, I'll set bond in the amount of $1,500. The conditions of the release are that you have no contact with the alleged victim, that you maintain a separate residence. You may return one time in the presence of law enforcement officers to retrieve your personal belongings from any shared residence. You may not possess any weapons or firearms. If you have any, you must turn them in to the Orange County Sheriff's Office within 4 hours of release from incarceration. The arrest affidavit indicates that alcohol was a factor. I'm going to order that you not consume alcohol to the point of intoxication and that you not take any drugs that haven't been prescribed to you by a doctor. All right, please follow the officer out the blue door. Please step forward and tell me your name.
Jarquez Rowe.
Mr. Rowe, you do qualify for a public defender. I'm going to appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you.
Sorry, Judge, she didn't fill out one.
Oh, I thought you said yes. Mr. Rowe, I apologize. I misunderstood what the clerk said. You didn't complete the form. Do you want to find out if you qualify for a public defender? Will you please raise your right hand to be sworn in?
Do you solemnly swear affirm the testimony shall give me the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Thank you, sir. Do you have any income, Mr. Rowe?
Not right now. I had just started working.
Okay, I'll find that you qualify. I'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you. You've been charged with battery, domestic violence. I reviewed the arrest affidavit. I do find probable cause. I'm gonna set bond in the amount of $1,500. The conditions of your release are that you must maintain a separate residence. You may return one time in the presence of law enforcement officers to retrieve your personal belongings. You may not have any contact with the victim. You may not possess any weapons or firearms. If you have any, you must turn them in to the Orange County Sheriff's Office within 4 hours of release from incarceration.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Please follow the officer out the blue door. Please step forward and tell me your name.
Stephen Trish, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Trish, they're here on two things. The first one is battery, domestic violence. You do qualify for a public defender. I'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you. And then the second thing is a fugitive from justice. That's, you have a warrant out of the state of Kentucky. And so you'll be held on that warrant without bond, and you'll be visited by our fugitive warrant team, and they'll explain extradition to you. And on the battery, domestic violence, I will find probable cause. I'll set bond in the amount of $1,500. I'll order no contact with the alleged victim. Maintain a separate residence. You may return one time in the presence of law enforcement officers to retrieve personal belongings from a shared residence. You may not possess any weapons or firearms. If you have any, you must turn them into the Orange County Sheriff's Office within 4 hours of release from incarceration. Please follow the officer out the blue door. Please step forward and tell me your name.
Brittany Dwyer.
Ms. Dwyer, you're here on a warrant out of Lake County. The judge in your case has set bond on it, $10,000 on count 1 and $5,000 on count 2. We'll notify Lake County that you're here, and they'll have 72 hours to pick you up.
Am I able to bond out?
You may. Again, yes, the judge did put bond amounts on it, so you can post a bond.
Thank you.
Please follow the officer out the blue door. Please step forward and tell me your name. Ms. Joyner, you're here on a warrant from Polk County, and the judge in that county did set bond at none. So we'll notify Polk County that you're here, and they'll have 72 hours to pick you up.
Your Honor, is this Joyner? I think it's a fugitive warrant.
Oh, sorry. Okay. I don't know why I wrote Polk. So it's out of Georgia? I must have been looking at the wrong case. All right, so Ms. Joyner, it's, I apologize, it's a warrant out of the state of Georgia. So you'll be held on no bond on that, and then you'll be visited by our fugitive warrant team. All right, please follow the officer out the blue door.
Your Honor, Andrew Perez Montana with mental health.
And we can waive his appearance, Your Honor, if you appoint the public defender temporarily, or I don't know if you need to.
It's a, I don't even think it's necessary. It's a fugitive from justice. It's a warrant out of the state of Ohio. So he'll be held no bond and be visited by the fugitive warrant team.
Raul Tamayo, behavior.
All right, that's a warrant out of Sarasota, and, the judge did put a bond of $500 on the warrant. Please step forward and tell me your name.
Latavius Taylor.
Mr. Taylor, this is a warrant out of Lake County, and that judge said no bond. So Lake County will be notified that you're here, and they'll have 24 hours to pick you up. The 24 hours doesn't include it starts now, and it doesn't include Saturday and Sunday.
It does?
Does not. I just wanted you to know that. Please follow the officer out the blue door. Please step forward and tell me your name. I'm sorry, did he qualify? Yes. All right, Mr. Coleman, you do qualify for a public defender, so I'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you in your violation or probation proceeding. The judge in the case did put a bond on your VOP of $2,500, and you're scheduled for, if you're still here, an in-jail arraignment on 10/16. All right, please step forward and tell me your name.
Richard Mesner.
All right, Mr. Mesner, you have several things going on today. The first one that we'll address is the violation of probation. In that case, Ms. Sweet is been entered an appearance as your counsel. Is she going to continue to represent you?
I haven't had a chance to talk to her.
Okay, you do qualify for the public defender. Would you like me to appoint the public defender in case you can't arrange it with Ms. Sweet? All right, so I'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you in the violation of probation and the three cases that we'll address in just a moment. So on the violation of probation, the judge in that case did put none on the warrant, so you'll be set for an in-jail arraignment on 10/16. Now we'll address your new law violations and the case ending in 11329. You've been charged with burglary of an unoccupied dwelling and petty theft, 2 or more prior convictions. It was a warrant signed by a judge, so probable cause has previously been found, and I'll stay the bonds. In the case ending 9677 AO, you've been charged with dealing in stolen property, receiving money from a pawnbroker with false verification, and petty theft. Also, that was a warrant signed by a judge who previously found probable cause. I'll stay the bonds.
Your Honor, it does appear as though an information was filed in that, and it was only filed in regards to dealing in stolen property, count 1.
Oh, okay.
What case is that, 9677?
9677. So since the information was filed, it will just be then on the dealing in stolen property, and I'll stay the bond of $7,500. And then, just for the paperwork, it's necessary to put something, so we'll put ROR on the other two since they weren't charged.
Thank you, Your Honor, and I'm just double checking. Thank you.
And thank you for bringing that to my attention. And then the other case is the one in 5091, and it was burglary of an occupied conveyance and grand theft 3rd degree. Also a warrant signed by a judge previously finding probable cause, and I'll stay the bonds.
And Your Honor, so you would ask for no contact and no return on all 3?
Yes, and I'll do on the 11329, because that was burglary of an unoccupied dwelling, and then also in the 5091, I'll order no contact with victim, witnesses, no return. All right, please follow the officer out the blue door. Please tell me your name.
Jesse Patillo.
Mr. Patillo qualify?
Say,
Mr. Patillo, you do qualify for a public defender, so I'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender. You have 3 cases. The first one we'll address is the violation of probation. It's an on view for the new law violation, so bond will be none, and you'll be scheduled for an in-jail arraignment on 10/16. Then you have a case of an open container alcoholic beverage. I'll find probable cause. I'll stay the bond. And then possession of MDMA. I find probable cause and I'll stay the bond.
Take this. Talk to your attorney more. Take this with you.
Please step forward and tell me your name.
First name Joseph, last name Tesoro.
And Your Honor, it does appear as though back in 2021, a private attorney did file an appearance
Yes,
on this.
Kim Young.
And yes, and then also I didn't have any information on it because it is an older case.
Yeah, you don't qualify for a public defender, and I do see that Ms. Young has entered an appearance. So, if she's not your attorney, you'll have to get your own attorney. It is a violation of probation, and the judge did put bond at none in your case. All right, please follow the officer out the blue door. Please step forward and tell me your name.
Jocelyn Marie Villat.
Ms. Villat, you do qualify for a public defender. I'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you in your violation of probation proceeding. The judge in the case did put bond at none, and you're scheduled for an in-jail arraignment on October 16th.
Thank you.
It's the 13th. Yeah, the 13th. Good luck with everything. Done for now. You'll be back soon.
Please step forward and tell me your name.
Dwayne Lewis Woodson.
Mr. Woodson, you do qualify for a public defender. I'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you. You've been charged with violation of community control. The judge in your case did put bond at none, and you're scheduled for an in-jail arraignment on October 16th. Please follow the officer out the blue door. Please step forward and tell me your name.
Your Honor, Nicholas Woodworth, refused.
Did he qualify?
And Your Honor, we can waive his appearance if we appoint the public defender's office.
All right, I'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender in both proceedings. The violation of probation, the judge did sign the warrant and put none. He's scheduled for an in-jail arraignment on 10/17. I was gonna go ahead and arraign him, but we'll wait till 10/17. And then on the failure to appear warrant, the judge also set bond at none. All right, I have a person with no paperwork. May I have your name, please?
Celine Sathelmo Forbes Jr.
And Your Honor, this was set by an attorney downtown. I believe
yeah.
he's already discussed, I have not had an opportunity to speak with Mr. Forbes. However, my understanding is his attorney has already gone over the plea offer with him and the plea form as well, or do you need a moment to review that? Okay, and he does wish to accept the offer from the state of an adjudication of guilt, credit time served, court costs, cost of prosecution, and enter a plea of no contest. This is a driving while license suspended. It is an enhanceable offense, meaning that 3 driving while license suspended in 5 years will make you a habitual traffic offender. You can lose your license for 5 years, so just be aware of that.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, sir, are you under the influence today of any drugs, alcohol, or medication that would impair your thinking?
No, ma'am.
Is anybody forcing you to enter into this plea agreement today?
No, ma'am.
Do you understand that if you are not a United States citizen, entering into this plea agreement will subject you to deportation?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you currently on probation for any other offense?
No, ma'am.
Do you have his case pulled up? Is that it? On the charge of driving while license suspended, how do you plead?
No contest, ma'am.
Just 1 second. All right, I'll accept your plea of no contest. I'm going to adjudicate you guilty of the offense. I'm going to give you credit for 51 days' time served. I'm going to assess mandatory court cost and cost of prosecution. As to the financial obligations, I'll give you 6 months to pay that off. If for any reason you're unable to pay it off within the 6 months, you must report to the clerk of the court and set up a payment plan.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Please, the officer will fingerprint you and then, you'll get processed. All right, we'll address the 33-day motions. Keith Marcus Blackman.
23 CF 11352, denied, and information was filed.
Andrew Dale Carwise.
23 CF 8008, denied, and information was filed.
Marcus Lee Casita.
23 CF 12063, granted, notice of non-filing.
Alana Edward Douglas.
23 CF 11900, granted, notice of non-filing.
Jose Forrest Vila.
23 CF 12159, granted, notice of non-filing.
Carly Shigami Hunter.
23 CF 10692, granted, notice of non-filing.
Quentin Lamb.
23 CF 12180, granted, notice of non-filing.
David Aubrey McCammon.
23 CF 12050, denied, and information was filed.
Jurion Saron Smith.
23 CF 11888, denied, and information was filed.
Stephen Cole Warren.
23 CF 12164, granted, notice non, or no billed.
Gus Fennel.
23 CF 11032, granted, no billed.
All right, we're off the record.